we all need to be like counting orgasms and not calories. Like,
yes.
Hello, everyone. I'm Morgan, co-founder of Primal Kitchen and host of the Primal Kitchen podcast. Today, I'm super excited to be talking with co-founder and CEO of Joy Women's Wellness, Katy Whalen. Joy is an interactive online women's health community backed by hormone specialists and doctors that provide a personalized approach to women's health care. Katy had her own long journey of infertility that left her struggling with brain fog, fatigue, hormone, and weight loss issues. After she tried everything, she went on her own healing journey using peptide and hormone therapy and wanted to share this experience with women everywhere. Today, we're going to learn about all the things: sex drive, perimenopause, hormone health, weight loss, and support for women to help manage the aging process and feel better. Before we get started, a brief reminder that any and all opinions and views shared by hosts and guests on this podcast are the speaker's own and do not represent the view of Primal Kitchen or its affiliates or parent company. Hello, Katy. Welcome to the Primal Kitchen podcast. How are you?
I am super excited to be here. How are you?
I'm great. I've been really pumped about this. I feel like I'm not in the perimenopause or menopause phase of life, and I'm nursing, so I'm not doing much in the hormone realm these days, but I'm excited for the day when I get to just really dig in and understand what's going on to women and hormones and fertility and all those things as they're aging. So fill me in. Where are you right now?
In my menopause stage or in my
No, sorry. In your location in the world. You can give me your menopause stage too if you want, but
I'm currently in perimenopause. Oh God. We actually just moved from Denver, Colorado to Nashville, Tennessee,
nice.
Which I am loving so far. It's a really awesome community. The weather's a little bit warmer and it's pretty vibrant city, so it's fun.
People that's a big migration point for I feel like a crew moved there during
I think so.
COVID.
Yeah,
I love
totally.
it. That's great. Yeah. Okay, so you're in perimenopause. What does that even mean? And then we can get into it because now that was one of the things I wanted to understand today.
I know. It's so funny because I don't think people do understand it. I didn't understand it. I have just been in this business for a year and a half. So I am all new to this. I've been digging in deep because I find it pretty fascinating, but I think it's something that women should just, there should be a course. We should know about it because there's some wild things that happen to us in our, I always thought menopause was this far off thing and you do it when you're old and I'm not going to worry about it till you get there. But menopause is really just a day, all of a sudden you're in it. You haven't had a period for a year. That means, okay, congrats, you're in menopause now. But really leading the 10 years leading up to menopause, which is really all of your 40s for most average women, is a whole stage where your hormones go wacky and you start to have all these crazy symptoms, things that you maybe think that you're going crazy or your anxiety's through the roof, probably some weight gain, all these things. There's even stuff strange itching and locked shoulders, that stuff that can happen in your 40s that we just don't know. I don't think there's a memo that's hey, ladies, just in case you start to get these weird symptoms, just know you're in this stage and there's maybe some things you can do about it,
Yeah. Or they're just oh, I must just be getting old or something. Or there's no tie that there's any link to hormones or that there's anything they can do about it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. And you founded Joy Women's Wellness. Mm-hmm. And when did you found the company?
It's pretty new. We launched right about a year ago, actually, in March of last year. And I started it based on my own health journey. I didn't know anything about, what I know now. But a few years ago, at around 41, when I was done having my babies, I felt like I had a really important question to answer. And that question was, who am I now and what's next for me? Because the previous 5 to 6 years of my life were pretty intense. I had, I know so many women go through this, but I had a really rough fertility journey. So I had 4 miscarriages and 3 egg retrievals and loads of fertility drugs. And then I finally did have 2 perfect babies, which I'm so thankful for. But during that time, my self-care went out the window. My sanity was definitely out the window. And instead of dealing with heartbreak and emotional issues and slowing down and caring for myself, I went into warrior woman mode where I was I am going to not stop and not focus on anything else until I, have my family. and have a successful family that I want to build. So I did that. And then, after I was done with that, I'm like, whew, thank God I'm in a good place now, but also I'm not. Like, who is this? I had gained so much weight. I didn't feel good. My brain fog was intense. Like I was like, there's no way I can go back into the workforce. Like I can't even do a simple math equation. So I was like, is this the new me? Do I just say, okay, this is what life's dealt me and I'm a mom. And so this is me. Or do I really put in the hard work to like get where I want to go? And, when you're in your 40s and have 2 little babies to take care of, that hard work seems a lot more daunting. So I did decide to go that route and to start caring for myself again. But what really, really helped me was some therapies that I discovered along the way and got on. And they were just life changers for me. Fortunately, I knew where to start. My husband had been through his own kind of health journey. And so I started with a blood draw, found out my thyroid was out of whack. My testosterone was super low. So those were my first things to address. I got on some thyroid meds. I started on testosterone. And I was really blown away by what the testosterone helped me do. Like it started helping lift my brain fog, giving me motivation. And I actually started seeing results in the gym. Like I could get stronger, lift heavier things, which, was never me. I was never like a muscly gal, but like I started to see a little bit of strength and feel a little bit of strength, which was super motivating. And so, and then after I was able to finish breastfeeding and get on this weight loss peptide that I tried, it's pretty popular right now. Again,
okay, what's it called? Tell me more.
I mean, you definitely heard about it. There's lots of controversy.
Ozempic?
Ozempic, Wegovy. So we compound them. The compounded name is semaglutide, tirzepatide, Mounjaro. So they're out there right now. You've heard of them.
Yeah. So you're on a compounded version of that same medicine.
Yeah. And I swear to God, it was insane how I felt like finally my body was like working for me versus working against me. And it just blew my mind. And I was like, I think that at least these therapies need to be like more accessible and more known to women because you're just doing so much for everyone else that like, and you've done so much to your body. Like your body's been through so much. It's like, you got to figure out ways to like help you get to where you want to be and feel good and have the energy to do all the things. So that's why I started Joy.
So, okay. So you're kind of like democratizing this whole like hormone peptide therapy, right? That like is maybe only accessible to like people who have a ton of money, who can go see some specific doctor, who probably only takes cash, who then, so how does Joy work? Like,
yeah, I mean, we're telehealth. So we started basically, during COVID. So we decided that would be the best way to go. We also thought it would be easier to be in telehealth, but it's not. There's so many technology things and, online regulations, which are way harder. But anyway, we try to make it easy for people by, being accessible. And we don't take insurance. A lot of the therapies that we work with aren't covered by insurance. Yeah. Just how it is. I mean,
but the access to the doctors and the treatment is more accessible, right?
Totally. Yeah, totally. I mean, we only charge $25 for an initial visit. And then, if
I were to go see a doctor who was going to like look into all this alternative stuff in LA, it would probably be like $2,500 for an intake visit of 1 hour. And then they start treating you and then you have to buy all the medications after. Yeah. And just to put things into perspective for people, I'm sure that's something you hear quite often. But anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not accessible. So yes, for sure. We kind of, we try to make it as inexpensive as we can for that reason. But
so people then they get an initial consult. Do they do testing at home? Like how do they figure out where they're at?
Yeah, we have a couple of cool ways to do lab testing, which I'm a big believer in. So we are partnered with, different labs across the nation. So we can send you in to like a LabCorp or Quest to get a blood draw. But we also have this cool partnership with a company called Get Labs where we can send a phlebotomist to your home or your office. So that's pretty cool too. And then we're working on some at-home tests. At-home tests are awesome. They can't test for as many things, like it's a finger prick. But it's a cool tool if you're, it's convenient, and there are some cool things it can still test for. So we kind of have all three options there.
I love it. And what kind of testing are you guys doing? Like, what's the baseline? Does everybody go through the same like program of testing, or is it dependent on?
Well, it really depends on what you're into. So like if you're just trying to try a peptide, you actually don't need to do lab testing.
Is Ozempic, is that a peptide? Or no?
It is.
It is. Oh, yeah. Okay. I didn't realize that. I hear all about these peptides, but quite honestly, like I don't even understand. This is a new thing, these peptides. Yes?
Yeah. I mean, yes and no. They have been around for a while. Like insulin is a type of peptide.
Okay.
Actually.
I didn't know that.
So they have been around for a while, but I think that they're having a moment. I think that they're newer. I think that people don't understand what they are for sure. I mean, obviously, like Vital Proteins brought in the collagen peptides that you put in your shake, right? So that's been around for a little while, but these are what we do, peptide therapy. They're all prescription based, under medical supervision, and it's a little different, a little stronger.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so you come in, you do your blood work, because you guys are testing like hormones. What else are you testing? What are you looking for?
Tons of things. Like our entry point lab is something like 47 markers, I think. So we test, all your blood, your CMPs, CBCs, and then we do like liver function, kidney function, vitamins,
thyroid panel,
thyroid, all your hormones, inflammation markers. So all tons of things.
Cool. And then you guys go from there. And how many doctors do you have how many doctors are there in Joy?
Well, we've got 3 nurse practitioners who do a lot of the everyday, day-to-day thing. We actually have also 2 medical advisors that kind of help us set protocols, help with training. One of them is, I listened to her podcast with you. I know you like her, Dr. Amy Killen.
Oh, yeah. I love her.
She's one of our Joy and Blokes advisors. And I love her too. So excited to have her with us.
She's the best. She's the one who now I'm like, she would basically convince me like we all need to be like counting orgasms and not calories. Like,
yes,
that's what my takeaway from my podcast was like, okay, I really need to like up my game here, because there's all these like scientifically proven health benefits of 100 orgasms a year. And like, I'm over here just trying to lose 5 pounds, but I should really be like moving. The goalpost is moved. Like, I need to be aiming for something else. So anyway, yes. For those listening, you have to go listen to the podcast with Dr. Amy Killen. She's great. Anyway,
it's a good one. But I'm glad you brought that up, because actually this is February. It's Valentine's Day month, and we're going to do a bunch of content around that study, which shows, try to have, 100 orgasms a year, which sounds like a lot. It's like 2 a week, so it's doable.
Once every 3 days is doable. Totally,
it's doable. Yeah. But some people have to work at it.
Yeah, I mean, we all have to work at it, especially if you have kids. Let's be honest. Yeah. Anyway, okay.
Yeah.
Back to it. So one of your medical advisors is Dr. Killen, and then.
And then we have another one, Dr. Melissa Losky. She's been in practice 15 years in Omaha, Nebraska area. So and then we just started this coaching program, which we're building out as well. So there's more of like a hand-holding lifestyle approach with these things too. We kind of saw that people needed that. So
you're certifying coaches who can be like Joy coaches, is that right?
Yeah, who can really kind of be there, since these are newer things that people don't understand. I think people need a lot more, hand-holding attention. They can try out new things that they've never heard of. So it's a little bit more in-depth than like a provider has to, be with you on a call for, half an hour. So this adding the coaches in, I think, kind of helps bridge that gap. Cool.
So cool. And do you have like a medical background or a technology background or?
None of it. No.
None of it. Okay.
No, I have a little bit of a finance background. I sold institutional fixed income for a while on Wall Street. But no, my husband actually is the medical background guy. He has always been in healthcare. We had 4 regenerative medicine clinics that were shut down during COVID. So my husband actually started a men's side first.
Oh, cool.
When I was going through my fertility journey and trying to have a family, and that's all I was focused on, his testosterone had tanked, and he had no sex. I mean, I could wait 6 weeks and he still had no interest in having, sex. And that was awful on our marriage. And so he kind of went through his journey first and then saw the opportunity as the healthcare entrepreneur. So,
okay, I have to ask, what's a regenerative medicine clinic?
Like stem cells.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Just like throw that out so casually. Just like stem cells. Just this like groundbreaking medical stuff that's going on. No big deal.
Yeah. Well, like Amy is actually Dr. Killen.
Yeah, she does a lot of stem cell stuff. Yeah. Super cool. So you guys aren't doing that anymore. And now you have joined, what's the men's version called?
It's Blokes.
Blokes. I love it.
Like the cheeky Australian word. Yeah.
Yeah. And for those listening, it's Joy, Joi. So if you guys are going to go check it out and get on your peptides and your hormones, then Google Joy, Joi. Okay. So by the way, I had the fertility journey too. It was so interesting. We had used an IUI to get pregnant and a little bit of Clomid. I didn't have to do IVF. I was thankful, but they couldn't like figure out what was wrong. We had no sperm issues. Like I remember freaking out that I had to wait like 3 hours for them to do the IUI insertion. And I was like, this sperm count is gonna, like, the sperm are dying, like, come on, like, get me in there, let's get this going. And then they were like, okay, relax, like, let's go look. And then they were like, we just need 9 million. This is what's crazy. They're like, we need 9 million sperm, like, to be like, oh, this is a good amount. And then they're like, let's look and see where your husband's at. Okay, 87 million sperm from this one draw. And I'm like, you have to be kidding me. Like, here I am. I have to go through all this, like, do Clomid. It gives me a terrible migraine, like go on all this monitoring. And then like the fertility journey for men is like, here's a room with pornography. If you could just have an orgasm, that would be great. And we'll see you in 20 minutes. And women are just left like,
it's awful.
It's awful.
Yeah. Poor men. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. But okay, this is so interesting. All right. So when do you like feel like women should start, like when's an appropriate time to start like looking at this kind of stuff? Is it symptom based or is it age based?
It's both. I mean, for sure, it can be different for everyone too. But I mean, I think just starting with like understanding what these stages are is very important, so that like when a symptom does come up, you can, instead of just ignoring it or saying, oh, I'm getting older, or oh, I'm a mom now, so I have mom brain, you can kind of understand like, oh, wait, something's going on, pay attention. I think you can get a base lab anytime, 35, 40, whatever, just to kind of, maybe even when you feel good, just so you can go like, this is where I feel really good. And what do my levels look like? Because it's just kind of more interesting. It's not necessary. But yeah, I think once you start really feeling some change, that's when you really need to start paying attention. I think in your 40s, that will happen a lot. And I think so many women in their 40s, like, don't know what's going on, and they start to get these like anxiety, mood issues, and like they get antidepressants thrown at them so fast. Oh yeah. And I think that we should slow down on that a little bit. And
that is an interesting theory. Yeah, it's like, here's the Xanax,
right,
your
which
anxiety. Just really, take this whenever. Yeah,
it's pretty bad for you. And so like a lot of times your progesterone is low, and that like a bioidentical progesterone at night can help you sleep, and it can help you with your mood and even you out. And that's all you need.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is I do see that. I feel like with my friends, I'm 30, I'll be 39 in April, but I feel like that is like it's just a big, like, depression and anxiety is like a big symptom. Anxiety, especially. I noticed that even in my 30s, I was like, every friend of mine has anxiety, like everyone.
Yes.
Yeah.
Me too.
There's a hormonal component.
It's huge. I'm a big anxiety person, unfortunately. Yeah.
So am I.
And I think it's like experience and age too, right? Like some bad things happen to you, but your hormones are a huge, right away in perimenopause, the progesterone goes down, and that's the direct symptoms there. So I know when I just started it, I don't know, 8 months ago, I think. And I noticed right away, like a feeling where I could like fall asleep and feel calmer. And it was like, thank God, like that's all it took.
Yeah.
It was nice.
So a breastfeeding mom, can I do anything? Or do I have to wait till I'm not breastfeeding?
Not a lot.
No, just wait until I'm done with this phase of life.
Yeah.
Can you stay on
Ozempic?
Can you stay on Ozempic when you're pregnant?
You know what? In general, no. You know this. You can't do much when you're pregnant, but it's kind of provider specific. So Dr. Losky, who treats a lot of women in Omaha, she uses semaglutide and tirzepatide for a lot of gals that have PCOS, because what it does is helps with insulin sensitivity. So her gals that are on it can help with that and then help them get pregnant. And so she kind of keeps them on a low dose depending on the person. I think on the Ozempic brand they say to stop a couple weeks before you try to get pregnant.
Yeah, everything.
So everything.
No,
you can't do.
No testing on those pregnant women. So
no, yeah. I mean, I get it. It's frustrating though, but I remember trying to get a vitamin B12 shot in an IV bar when I was pregnant, and they were like, "No, can't do that." I'm like, "It's a vitamin," but yeah, you can't do anything.
Yeah. So I'm curious, like for you, what does your prescription look like right now? Just so people have an understanding of like what is the treatments.
Yeah. Well, I do the.
If you don't mind sharing, sorry.
Not at all.
We launched with like I'm in perimenopause, so I feel like we can go there.
I'm an overshare. Yeah. I do the progesterone capsule at night. And then I'm on testosterone, which I love.
Is that a shot, a cream? What is it?
I do a testosterone shot.
Okay. And you do it yourself at home every day, or what's the?
It's twice a week.
Okay.
Yeah, I do it myself in your stomach, sub-Q. It's the tiniest little needle. I will also sometimes have my husband do it in my butt.
Yeah.
So that's a good, if you have a partner that's willing to do that, that's easy. But it's pretty painless. And so those two are my hormones. And then I take a BPC capsule, and that's for gut health and inflammation. And then I do a growth hormone releasing troche, which dissolves on my tongue. That one is awesome because what it does is it's not growth hormone that you're putting in your body. It's growth hormone releasing peptide. So it tells your body to release more of its own growth hormone.
Okay.
And your growth hormone is at your highest when like we're around middle school age. So if you think of all the things around that, it's like you get deeper sleep, you have better skin, because it helps with your body producing collagen. It helps you build more muscle tone, get rid of that fat, have more energy. So that one I take 5 days on, and then I take 2 days off.
Okay.
So that's just kind of general vitality. And what else do I do? I am on a microdose now of the tirzepatide because I still like the way, like I hit my weight loss goal, but I still like the way it helps me feel. It helps my body kind of like with the insulin sensitivity and like use my food for fuel.
And I keep saying Ozempic because everyone just knows it, but is that the equivalent of the Ozempic? You're saying? Okay. So that's like the peptide, or not really?
It is. It's a class. They're all like what they call GLP-1 medications. Yeah. So it's a version of that. Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
So you're microdosing it.
Yeah, I'm doing a small amount.
Dr. Killen talks about. She talks about like there might be benefits from this besides, because the full dose can make some people nauseous, right? Is that the
semaglutide for sure makes a lot of people nauseous.
Okay.
Tirzepatide is a newer one that we're seeing not very much nausea in at all, which is really nice. So yeah, it just depends kind of on the individual, but in some people for sure there's nausea on some of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean they're also studying it for prevention of Alzheimer's too, because so many disease states have to do with like insulin sensitivity and how your body uses its food or doesn't use its food. So there's a lot of interesting possible like benefits that we're looking into, or they're looking into.
And longevity as well, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And some cancer prevention. Like there's all sorts of positive stuff. Swirling, perhaps.
Swirling, yes, yeah. That much smarter people are looking into, yeah. So to be determined on that. But for me, I know I feel good on it, and it really gives me like a freedom from like wanting to eat the whole bag of chips or bad things. I make better choices with my food, which is like very easily, which is really nice. I'll have like 2 fries and I'm like, I'm good. I don't want that. It's a really nice freedom.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So it does like something to your hunger, or what is it?
Yeah. I mean, it pings receptors in your brains that in your brain that like makes your cravings different. Yeah. It's just amazing. It is amazing.
I love it. Okay. So is that the last of your protocol then? And is that one a shot too, or what's that one?
That's a once weekly shot. So there's all different, there's all different types of ways you can take peptides. My husband does a C-Max nasal spray, which is pretty popular, that helps with like brain fog and cognition and clarity. And the other thing I do is NAD. It's not a peptide, but I do like NAD a lot for energy and kind of overall vitality. A lot of people do that in like IV bars.
Yeah.
But we do an injection of that. I do that once weekly as well.
So you're just like shots all the time over there at home.
I guess a few of them are shots, but I got some capsules and some troches. Yeah, I got a cream. There's a face cream.
What's a troche? Ooh, I want to hear about the face cream, but what is a troche?
God. The troche dissolves in your tongue.
Oh yeah, okay. See, I'm down for that. That's that's easy. Yeah, I'm down for the shots too. I would actually prefer maybe a shot once a week than taking a pill every day, but that's just me. So anyway.
It's not bad. You got to mix it up.
All right, now the face cream. What's with the face cream?
The face cream, honestly, so I've had multiple women reach out to me and unsolicited and be like, my time in between Botox is like extended by 3 months. Like it's called GHK copper peptide.
Okay.
And it's just a cream you put on I put it on my face, my neck, but you could really put it anywhere. It's really regenerative. So it can help with, people who've had surgery, different like wound healing or anything like that. But it really makes me feel like firmer, less pores, and just helps with wrinkles. So it's pretty cool. Yeah.
And we can get that also, Joy, like through Joy?
Yeah, we do that. Mm-hmm.
God, you guys do all the good women stuff.
I think that's one you can do, breastfeeding, the face cream.
Okay, here we go. All right, I'm on it. Cool. And then how often are you getting blood work done on Joy? Like every year, every quarter?
If you're on hormones, we suggest that you do it every quarter just to check in, make sure you're good and your doses are good. I think that's when it's important to make sure you're pretty religious about it. But if you're not on hormones, I personally think yearly is great.
Great. Sorry, I feel like I'm just rapid fire questionings at you, but you talked about compounding your medication. So tell us a little bit of what that is and why that matters.
We work with several different compounding pharmacies in the USA, and they're just pharmacies that actually make, get the raw ingredients and make different formulations. I don't think they're widely known, but they're heavily regulated. They're heavily regulated by the state pharmacy license boards. They get all their ingredients from, FDA regulated facilities. So it really just allows you to not have to do the brand names of things as much, and kind of, be a little bit more creative in your formulations.
Yeah. And also I feel like on some of the hormone stuff, there's like some additives if you were to just go like off, like, just go buy a brand name. But then can't you guys compound without some of these, like, I don't know, filler ingredients or secondary ingredients that aren't active, that are just kind of not great?
Yeah, I think I'm not super informed on all the total differences, but I do think like, there's different, like you can have less shelf life if you're not, a brand and putting in, but yeah, so
little cleaner. Sure. They can be compounded a little cleaner than if they were, I don't know. That's just, but maybe I'm making this up. So you would know, but anyway.
That's a really good question. I might need to look into that. I know certain brands do have things like peanut oil or something in their products, and we can specify, no peanut oil, put it in MCT oil or something like that, grapeseed oil. So you can definitely like make sure it's a healthier ingredient or it's something that your patient's not allergic to.
Yeah. Okay. Another question. So you're like, what does it cost on average per month for medications? Mm-hmm. And this is probably a wide range. I would imagine people are on all sorts of different protocols, but what would your guesstimate be for someone who like is curious about this and wants to get into it?
So for female hormone stuff, it's usually between $149 and $199 a month, depending on which, for female hormones, we're talking about progesterone, estrogen, and testosterone. So there's a combination. You could be on one or you could be on all three. But we include in our monthly pricing all the follow-ups and all the follow-up lab lab visits. So that's kind of like we bundle it that way. But for peptides, it ranges, but I would say between probably around $100 for like the cheaper things, and then the GLP ones, the weight loss, are more expensive, and those run about $300 to $400 a month, depending on how much you're dosing.
Yeah.
So those are more expensive.
Interesting. I mean, look, I think you can't really put a price on feeling good and feeling younger and all that. So I'm clearly all for it. But let's talk a bit about this. Is like interesting. I've been thinking about this lately a lot. I have a friend who has struggled with weight loss like for decades, you know, and she just like could never. I mean, she could eat like nothing and her weight wouldn't budge. And finally, like a family friend referred her to an endocrinologist. Turns out she's got like thyroid stuff going on, and they think there's like, you know, she ended up on Ozempic, right? And she's like, she looks great, she feels great, she's like, but she's like almost a little bit like ashamed. She's like, I mean, God, I feel like I'm cheating, but I'm on. And I'm like, listen, you know, life is short, right? Like, and if you've been stressing about losing 20 pounds for 10 years, and no matter what you do, you can't budge the weight, and there's a medication that doesn't have negative side effects, like, I don't know why as women do we have to feel guilty about wanting to feel good?
So
like,
interesting. It does feel like you're cheating a little bit, because we've been like taught.
Everyone's like, it's got to be, you got to exercise harder and eat less. Like, what's wrong with you if you can't exercise harder and eat less and lose weight? But like, there's so much more to it. There's
so much more. And that bothers me when I see people say that. Well, just eat right. Especially because I feel like I've seen so many people like your friend that like do eat right and do try and do like, you know, kill themselves to be perfect. And that still doesn't work, which is like, that tells you like your body's not working for you like it should. Yeah. Like there's other issues. And if you also like look at what we do to our bodies, like, oh my God, I look at, you know, what the food I was eating when I was younger, and then you go to college and you binge drink and smoke cigarettes. And I remember going on Slim Fast diets, you know, I mean, it's just like the crap that you put into your body. And then I got on the pill for 15 years or whatever, and that does crazy things to you. And then I took fertility drugs, and, you know, it's just like all the stuff that we do to ourselves, like it's not a surprise that sometimes our body's just like, look, I'm done. Like, I'm not processing that like I should. Like, I need something else, you know? So I think that this is, you know, you can say all the negative things that you want, but for people who really have tried everything and are healthy, like this is it's a game changer, and it's exciting. I'm excited for people that can use it and need it, and, you know, to see what it does in the future.
And when you're on this kind of protocol, you stay on it, right? I mean, this isn't something
you definitely can get off. Your hunger will come back at some point, you know, a few weeks after you're done. But, you know, the thought is that, of course, you've like gotten there and fixed some things. Like when I was on thyroid medication, and then I was able to get off that because my thyroid started like working properly, right? So you just kind of like, hopefully like the weight loss will help your body start working better, and you're, you know, motivated to make better health, you know, decisions. And then you keep from there, you know, keep putting in the day-to-day work, because you can't skip that. Like that comes along with it too. But yeah, I mean, I don't think they generally recommend that everyone microdose at that point. Like that's just kind of like speculative right now. But so yeah, you're definitely supposed to get off at some point.
You're not supposed to stay on, like even with hormones? Like what's the end game with hormones?
Well, yeah, I mean, with hormones, this is the reason I was attracted to Dr. Killen on her Instagram. She has this great reel where she was jumping into a pool with all her clothes on, and she said, "When do you need to get off hormones?" And she jumped in the pool and said, "When you're ready to, you know, when you want to start feeling old or aging or something like that." It was really a video that hit me. Again, you can get off when you want, and you'll probably start feling crappier.
Well, that's
again.
What I mean. Because people will be like, oh, but those drugs, like you have to stay on them for life. It's like, well, yeah. And if you're diabetic, you have to stay on insulin for life. Like, if you're on a statin, you're kind of on a statin for life. Like, so to me, that's not even like a negative, I guess. If there's positive benefits of it and there's not some like long-term negative health consequence, like, yes, you might be on these,
Yeah.
through your aging process.
Yeah.
And, hopefully it's a long one, but it is what it is, and I don't think that's something that should be like a turnoff really either, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I agree, because you're right. There's lots of other things. Like I'll probably take a vitamin D supplement for most of my life, just because I tend to not get enough vitamin D from the sun. So, I'm not upset about that, or I don't think it's bad. I also think when you're talking about hormones and estrogen in particular for women, like it's so protective of us for when we're aging. It helps reduce your risk of heart disease. It helps reduce your risk of osteoporosis, because it gives your bones that flexibility and that strength, and it helps with diseases like Alzheimer's. So it's so protective for us to live better, longer lives.
Yeah. And talk to me about sex drive after going on this type of a protocol.
Yeah. I mean, so the funny thing is my husband went through it first, where he had no sex drive, and it really drove me crazy. And I thought, oh, it's me. It's because I gained weight and all the things. We figured out his was his low testosterone, started getting that fixed. And it's a process, when you get on hormones, you'll start feeling good things right away, but you got to like work on your dose, and it can take a little while. So he started off on creams, I think, which ended up not working for him. But finally he was getting there. And then that was the time when I had my second son. And all of a sudden after my second son or my second child, I was like, I don't have any drive now. And like, I felt a little bit bad that I was so hard on him before, because I'm like, I get it. Like, I just don't care anymore. So yeah, the testosterone helped. But then also when I added in the progesterone, that helped. I mean, I think hormones are just such a balance. Like you need a little bit of everything and not too much of them. So they definitely helped me with that.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So I can hit that 100 year.
Yeah. Your 100 orgasms a year.
Hopefully. Yeah.
I know. I love it. I was like, Adam, I'm going to start tracking this. And then I like fell off the bandwagon after like 1 month, but I've got like a 7-month at home. I'm like, I'm about to come out. I feel like I'm coming out every month, but yeah.
Are you sleeping?
I mean, it's interesting. He was like a good sleeper at the beginning. And then he has two, older brothers that are like preschool age-ish. So we've just been like, I'm like, I had a baby, and then I had RSV, and then I had the flu, and then I had a cold, and then I had another cold. So
the germs. Yeah, the germs are awful.
Then you get like the baby with the cold, and then they don't really sleep. So that's this whole nother ongoing journey. Very cool. Okay, I have some like rapid fire questions for you. Aside from the things we talked about today, is there anything you're like most excited about in health and wellness that you're kind of like watching that you think is cool happening, or?
I think what's cool is this movement to be more preventative instead of like the sick care model, throwing pills at things. I think that movement to feel better and take control of your own health journey versus just kind of putting all your faith into one doctor is here, and I'm pretty excited about that.
I love it. What is how has your diet changed since you've incorporated all of this?
I feel like I make pretty good decisions in terms of what I'm eating, and I definitely have my moments or my nights of pizza and whatnot. But I'm really trying to get in a lot of protein every day, which is not always easy, and eat a lot of healthy fats, and so that's kind of what I focus on more.
I love it. What is the worst thing you've ever done for your health?
Do you remember Olean? Was that what it was called? When I was in college, they came out with this like fat-free chip. They put Olean in.
Oh,
I think that's what it was called. Something like that. Some horrible chemical where they took out fat in products and put in this chemical. And it was really bad for your like intestines and your gut. So I love chips. I'm a salty person. I ate way too many bags of chips, and I suffered for it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I kind of remember that. They probably pulled it from the market. It was causing.
They did. Yeah. It wasn't on there very long, which is scary.
Yeah, that is scary. I wonder about that with like this. Do you think that could ever be the case with any like Ozempic type product, or no? Like, do you feel like the safety has been proven?
I mean, it's been studying for a few years now. So
yeah.
There certainly could be some more things. Yeah, I think there always could be. I mean, I feel like what the FDA had like aspartame on as like safe not that long ago. There's a bunch of things that, it comes around. So there's always that possibility.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. My last question, I ask everybody this, but what's something most people don't know about you? I mean, we've kind of been through it all. We know about your sex life, your perimenopause, your hormone journey, your infertility.
What else do you want to know?
I mean,
I will say about 20 years ago, I had my 15 minutes of fame. I did TBS Movie and a Makeover. I was on that show. I doubt that show is still around, but it was a lot of fun.
Stop it. Wait, what's Movie and a Makeover?
TBS Movie and a Makeover. They did a movie, and then they did like in between the commercials, they'd like have someone's story and like say, she looks like crap now. And then like, so I had like, a stylist and like makeup and like I did it before and after. It was really fun.
Oh my God, that is great. I love it.
My friend was the producer on that. So thank you, Brian, for that.
So Brian's like, hey, Katy, you're looking like kind of, beat down these days. Can we get you on a Movie and a Makeover?
Yeah.
Commercial break. I love it. That's great. Awesome. Well, tell all our listeners where they can find more information about Joy. And thank you so much for coming. It was great to chat with you.
Yeah, this was so fun. I would love you to join us on IG. That's where I hang out most of the time. And we are at Joy Women's Wellness, and that's JOI. And then our website, if you want to check out some more products or have a consult, is choosejoy.co.
Fabulous. Thanks, Katy.
Thank you, Morgan.